we get another commercial, interstitial, and a guy shoots himself in the head in the commercial. I forgot why, but
Oh
he
yeah,
commits suicide. I was like, oh, that's a strange commercial.
I remember thinking that was kind of random, but I don't remember what it was about either.
Yeah, I just wrote note commercial. Guy shoots self in the head. That's what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah.
And then we get a scene over at the corporate headquarters at OCP. The mayor marches in and he's like extremely angry. And what's going on, it looks like, is they goaded the mayor into getting into extreme debt so that OCP forecloses on them. So it's basically a plot to privatize the city.
Yep.
And the mayor just leaves really mad. He tells the old guy, fuck you, you senile old bastard, or you old senile bastard. Like, he calls him that a couple times. And he's like, oh, I'm going to sue you. And he's like, oh, I hope so, or something like that. So this creates the big dilemma of basically OCP becoming the overlord of the city. So they become a big bad at this point. And then we're shown some Robocop 2 prototypes. I'm not even exactly sure why this is a plot point in the movie.
It seems like an homage to the if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, it seems like an homage to a similar scene in the first movie.
Well, in the first movie, we had the Ed 209 that was disastrous, where the guy got shot up. But in this one, we do have a similar scene where the first robot comes out, it goes crazy, it shoots like a couple of the scientists, and then it shoots itself in the head. Another one of the prototypes comes walking out. It basically takes its helmet off, and there's like a skull under it screaming, and it just collapses on the ground.
Yeah, that was.
And it's fun.
Funny.
Yeah, it's funny because we see like the reaction of the CEO, and he's just kind of face palming through the whole presentation. And this is what doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you're going to, I know they're doing this because it's funny, but in the real world, who would go to the CEO with a failed prototype and just like use that as a presentation? Like, oh, here's my presentation of Robocop 2, and it's like two failed, like overly fucked up failed prototypes that you're showing the CEO of your company, and he's like, oh, it looks like we just wasted 19 million. It's like I understand it's supposed to be funny, but like realistically, it doesn't really make sense.
That's why it's satirical. Like the corporation cares so much about militarizing and corporatizing the police and thus the control of the entire city too, that they don't even care how well the prototypes work or whether there is like a human soul who has to suffer for this thing to work.
Yeah, so at this point, there's some comments about that cops make bad candidates, and the lady named Fax, she says to consider like different types of candidates, and that Murphy was kind of like a one of the kind deal that would be hard to replicate.
He's a real noble cop, man. He's a good man.